Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving back into the capital Wasteland, folks. It's a place where, so many of us have sunk hundreds, maybe thousands of hours, right?
Oh, easily, yeah.
But what if the really defining stuff in Fallout 3, the things that make it, truly sing, are actually the things most of us just blew right past? Because, well, they weren't marked on the map.
It's the classic open world paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've gone through a massive stack of sources here. Community stuff, wikis, forum, deep dives, everything.
Right.
And they all kind of point to the same thing.
Right.
The deepest quests, the most nuanced ones, and honestly, sometimes the most messed up ones. They're often hidden. Deliberately.
Yeah.
Unmarked or, triggered by some weird little environmental cue you'd barely notice.
Exactly, and that's what you, our listener, are looking for, right? That definitive guide, the no shortcuts map to those really obscure gems. It's that feeling, when a game world is just so damn good, so realized.
You just can't quit it.
You can't. Not until you've wrung every last drop of content out of it. Doesn't matter how tedious it gets, or, frankly, how morally bankrupt some of these quests make you feel. We're going to make sure every minute you spent, or are going to spend, in that wasteland counts.
And look, that dedication, it's totally justified. The main story in Fallout 3, great, yeah, engaging stuff. But it's really in that bonus content, the side stuff, where the devs flex their world-building muscles.
For sure.
But that brings us straight to this core paradox that really frames this whole deep dive. There's this long-standing complaint from some corners of the fandom, right? That Fallout 3 just lacks quests.
Yeah, I've seen that. People point to the wiki counts, like, 36 main quests or something?
Around that, yeah. And they compare it to older RPGs like Morrowind with its, 170 plus.
36 does sound kind of thin for a game that big, doesn't it? Like, it suggests there isn't much depth there, which just feels wrong based on how much time people actually sink into it.
It sounds criminally low, I agree. But here's the thing. Those official counts, they almost always just tally up the big, obvious marked quests. The ones that pop right up in your Pip-Boy with a clear objective.
Oh, okay.
What all our community sources shout from the rooftops is that Fallout 3 doesn't have a lack of content problem. It has a surplus of brilliantly hidden content problem. Or, well, feature, depending on how you look at it.
So the game swaps out the hand-holding for, what, subtle clues?
Exactly. Subtle environmental stories, hidden radio signals you might just tune out, weird little objects you need to interact with. It demands more from the player. So, our mission today, pull back that curtain, give you the master map to the real hidden depths of the Capital Wasteland.
All right, so let's kick this off. Not with the epic lore drops or the big moral choices just yet. No, let's start with the pure, unadulterated, post-apocalyptic admin.
Yeah, the collection quests, the ones that basically turn your inventory into this tedious side hustle. And often, the economics behind them are just terrible.
Like an in-game stock market where all the stocks are junk?
Pretty much. Or like a post-apocalyptic gig economy based on finding bent tin cans. We're looking at stuff that maybe acts as an early game safety net. Or perhaps it's just the dev's way of making sure you check every single busted filing cabinet.
Okay, so first up, the classic, maybe the most misunderstood one, yearning for learning.
Ah, yes. Scribe Yearling. Arlington Library.
Right, you chat her up, try not to insult the Brotherhood, and bam, you're suddenly her personal book retriever. Bring her pre-war books.
And my first thought, probably like everyone's, was awesome. Unlimited caps and XP.
And just like everyone else, you then slam headfirst into the harsh reality of wasteland economics.
The sources are crystal clear on this. It is not an exploit. Forget infinite money.
So what's the actual deal?
You get 100 caps and a paltry 10 XP per book. Now, 100 caps, not terrible super early on maybe, but the key thing, the fact everyone misses or forgets.
What's that?
There is a finite number of pre-war books in the entire game. That's it. They don't respawn. Ever.
Whoa, okay. So it's not farming. It's a scavenger hunt with a hard limit and, let's be honest, pretty mediocre rewards. That completely changes how you'd approach it.
Absolutely. It forces you to prioritize. Like, do you grab every book you see from hour one? Because if you just sprint through the main quest, maybe you find, what, a dozen? 20?
Yeah.
But if you are meticulous, if you check every collapsed office building, every bombed out house, every forgotten bookshelf, maybe you push that number way higher, but the total payout is still capped. It won't break the bank.
It's actually pretty clever design then. It rewards that really deep early exploration, but stops you from just grinding it forever.
Exactly. Subtle but critical. Okay, sticking with questionable value propositions. Scrap metal. Let's talk scrap.
Oh god, the scrap metal. So much scrap metal. We've got two main guys taking it off your hands, right? Winthrop in Underworld and Walter back in Megaton.
Yep, and Winthrop, the ghoul in Underworld, honestly, if you're just looking at pure exchange rate, he's a terrible deal. Just awful.
Okay, what's he offering?
He takes your scrap, okay. But you only get one choice of medical item back. It's either a single stim pack or Radaway, for the radiation, or Red X for resistance.
Just one of those three per bunch of scrap.
Yeah, the actual value exchange. It's famously bad.
Shut.
Like, you're almost always better off selling the scrap for caps and buying meds elsewhere. Generally unprofitable for just farming.
So, why even bother with Winthrop then? Is it just flavor?
But here's the sneaky part, the deep dive mechanical bit, the quest. It's got this hidden skill check baked in, disguised as a trade.
Oh.
If your character has a high enough strength score, or, get this, a high skill in any weapon category, small guns, big guns, energy weapons, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can skip the whole trade dialogue. Winthrop's just, so impressed by how tough you look or how skilled you are with weapons that he just gives you 10 stim packs and right away. Doesn't even take your scrap.
No way. So the real reward isn't the scrap trade at all. It's a bonus for building your character a certain way.
Okay.
Like for being a badass.
Precisely. You get the good stuff for being strong or skilled, not for hauling garbage. It's a hidden perk for your build, masked as this annoying chore.
That's actually pretty cool and sneaky.
Very sneaky. And the sources always remind us, Walter, over in Megaton, his scrap quest just offers better straight-up value anyway. Which makes you wonder, right? Why have two when one's clearly worse?
Yeah, why?
The thinking is, it's probably just that early game safety net again. Ensures that wherever you start, whatever you do first, there's some way, even a bad one, to turn common junk into vital meds before you figure out how to make real money.
Makes sense. Okay, let's shift gears from slightly bad deals to just completely absurd high-stakes collection. Pronto. Paradise Falls. Getting Pronto some better weapons.
Pronto. He wants an inventory upgrade. A big one.
And his idea of an upgrade involves you, the player, bringing him 20 Chinese assault rifles.
20. And he doesn't care about the condition, which is something, I guess. Yeah. But explicitly, no ammo. Just the rifles.
20. What the actual hell? These aren't like rusty pipe pistols we're talking about. Chinese assault rifles, you find those on Super Mutant Masters. On high-level Talon Company mercs or gunners.
Yep. Mid to late game enemies generally. Tough ones.
So this isn't scavenging in ruins. This is actively hunting down and killing some of the toughest enemies in the game 20 times over just to stock a shop for some slaver dude.
It's pretty ridiculous. You're basically running a high-risk, incredibly violent supply chain management operation for.
Okay. So you go through all that hell, risking everything against masters and their rocket launchers. What's the grand prize for this Herculean effort?
Pronto's shop gets restock with better stuff. And you get a 20% discount on his new inventory.
Wait, a 20% discount? That's it. On weapons I probably already have better versions of, considering I just killed enough high-level dudes to get 20 of their rifles. That sounds abysmal. Truly terrible value.
It does sound terrible, yeah. And the sources definitely highlight how questionable the value is. But here's where we need to add a bit of critical friction, maybe.
Go on.
For the absolute completionist, the person listening who has to do everything, that 20% discount might be less important than the fact that Pronto's store becomes a reliable restocked source for high-end ammo.
Okay, so it's not about the guns he sells, it's about the bullets for the guns.
Could be. Stabilizing your ammo supply for those late-game weapons can be huge. So maybe it's less about the immediate discount and more about that long-term retail benefit. It's still a massive grind, demanding high-level combat, all for basically improving one shop's infrastructure. Only for the truly dedicated, I'd say.
Okay, if the last section was about putting up with bad economics, this is about putting up with bad karma. Or maybe actively seeking it out. Fallout 3 loves to force you into some morally gray or just plain dark choices.
Oh yeah, and sometimes the reward for being an absolute monster is just as pathetic as the reward for collecting 50 tin cans. It's kind of fascinating.
So where do we start? The big one.
Gotta be.
Oh.
Strictly profitable. This is it. This is the quest designed for the ultimate evil playthrough. The one that basically turns the lone wanderer into, well, a slaver. A cold, efficient monster.
Right. The task sounds simple, but it's just horrifying. You use the mesmetron.
which is that weird gun that basically confuses people, makes them vulnerable.
Right. You use that, slap a slave collar on some poor, non-essential NPC. Just some random settler or wastelander who doesn't have plot armor.
And you haul them off to Paradise Falls, sell them to Grouse.
Grim. So what's the payoff for that?
Okay, here's the deep dive into the actual cost of being pure evil in Fallout 3. Grouse pays 250 caps per slave.
250 caps. Okay. That doesn't sound like a fortune, but maybe if you do it a lot.
Well, hold on. Factor in your operational costs. The Mesnatron, it uses special ammo. A pack of 10 rounds costs 200 caps.
200 caps for 10 shots. Okay.
Now, the Mesmetron isn't exactly pinpoint accurate. Sometimes it takes 2, maybe 3 shots to successfully mez your target before you can collar them.
Wait a minute. If it takes 3 shots, that's 60 caps worth of ammo, minimum. Plus the hassle. To make 250 caps, you're barely breaking even.
Exactly. If you're super efficient, maybe you make a tiny profit. But if you miss a couple of times or need more shots, you could actually lose money trying to be a slaver.
So the game makes the absolute peak of moral atrocity financially kind of stupid.
That's the debate, isn't it? The sources argue about this constantly. Is it just bad game design making the evil path pointless from a rewards perspective? Or is it actually a really subtle, dark message from the developers?
Like saying that profiting from pure evil is not only wrong, but just not worth the effort, mechanically unprofitable.
The community generally leans towards that interpretation. One source note just flat out says, "You monster."
Yeah.
Which kind of sums it up. You're doing this purely for the negative karma, for the role-playing aspect of being truly evil, because the actual tangible reward, it's next to nothing. Requires real dedication to being bad.
Okay, shifting from pure evil to pure annoyance, maybe, with the side of moral flexibility. Let's talk about Sticky. Happy birthday to you.
Sticky. From Little Lamplight, the kid who's gotten too old for the kid-only town.
Right. And he needs an escort to Big Town. Now, the source material does not mince words here, does it? Calls him irritating, calls the journey a frustrating MMO escort mission.
Brutally honest, yeah. And let's face it, escort missions in big, dangerous open worlds, they're notoriously painful. You're constantly babysitting this fragile NPC with terrible pathfinding, praying they don't wander into a deathclaw nest.
So you've got this annoying kid, this dangerous journey across the wasteland. What's the moral twist?
The twist is in the mechanics and the lack of consequence. You have the choice. Either you grit your teeth and successfully get him to Big Town, or, as the source puts it, you can just get him ended. Let him meet an unfortunate accident.
Okay, and the game lets you do that.
It does. And here's the kicker. Sticky apparently promises you money for the escort that he doesn't actually have.
Yeah.
If he dies, if you facilitate his demise, it has zero effect on your karma. None.
No negative karma for letting the annoying escort quest NPC die? That's the developers basically giving you a giant wink, isn't it?
It totally feels like it. It's like they're saying, look, we know these quests suck. We know this kid might drive you nuts. We know you'll be tempted. Go on. We won't even ding your karma score. Feel free to solve this frustrating quest in the most expedient way.
It's such dark humor, like providing an outlet for player frustration disguised as a non-choice. Fascinating.
Isn't it? Okay, last one in this section. This one mixes that collection grind we talked about with a really direct, really heavy moral test. And it ties into actual American history, Lincoln's profit margins.
Ah, the Lincoln Memorial questline. Right, so you're tasked with finding Abraham Lincoln's scattered personal belongings.
Yeah, things like his diary, his iconic stovepipe hack, there's a wanted poster for John Wilkes Booth, and the big one, Lincoln's repeater rifle. They're all scattered around the Museum of History, which is usually crawling with ghouls.
So classic fetch quest in a dangerous location, but the moral part comes with who you sell them to, right?
Exactly. These aren't just random junk. They're incredibly significant historical artifacts. And you've got 3 potential buyers, each representing a totally different viewpoint.
Who are they?
There's Hannibal Hamlin. He's an escaped slave living at the Temple of the Union, trying to preserve Lincoln's legacy. There's Leroy Walker, who's a slaver operating out of Lincoln Memorial, wanting the items likely to, well, profit or perhaps even destroy them. And then there's Abraham Washington in Rivet City, who's the historian wanting to display them properly.
Okay, so a clear good choice, a clear evil choice, and a sort of neutral academic choice. And they all offer good money.
They all offer extra trade-in value, yeah. The game incentivizes selling them. But this is where it gets really interesting. The source material we looked at, it includes this really rare, like, explicit warning. It just says, I don't recommend the slaver.
Wow, okay, so the community feels pretty strongly about this one.
Extremely strongly, because this quest isn't just about getting negative karma points like the slavery quest. This is making you complicit in disrespecting Lincoln, the guy who ended slavery in the US by potentially selling his stuff to a slaver in the game's present day. It's a direct ethical gut check.
Tied directly to iconic historical artifacts. Heavy stuff.
Super heavy. And crucially, the sources almost universally recommend you keep Lincoln's repeater for yourself, regardless of who you sell the other stuff to. It's a unique, really powerful rifle, often considered too good to just sell for caps, even for a moral cause. Function over form, or perhaps function as a form of respect for the weapon itself. All right, so we've navigated the murky waters of economics and ethics. Now let's shift towards the stuff that really enriches the world, the quests that pluck you right into the deep lore of the Fallout universe, often triggered just by listening or by stumbling into the right hidden corner.
And for deep lore, you basically have to start with the big one, right?
Yeah.
The living legend, Harold, in the Oasis quest.
Absolutely. Harold is, well, he's the longest running recurring character in the entire franchise. He was in Fallout 1 back in '97. He was in Fallout 2. Finding him in Fallout 3 is huge for series veterans.
He's the guy who's like merged with a tree, right? Or is the tree?
Yeah, it's complicated. By Fallout 3, he's basically become this massive talking tree, Harold sprouting other trees around him, creating this hidden sanctuary called Oasis. He's not just some random quirky NPC. He's a living link spanning hundreds of years of Wasteland history. Finding him connects all the games.
Okay, so the quest itself involves dealing with his growth, making choices about his future. But the real trick is just finding Oasis in the first place, isn't it? It's way up north, hidden away.
Totally hidden.
Yeah.
And this is where that environmental storytelling really kicks in. How does the game guide you there? Not with a quest marker, not initially.
How then?
You have to be listening to the radio, specifically Galaxy News Radio, Three Dog, the DJ. He has this broadcast where he mentions, almost casually, this weird place way up north that's full of trees.
No way! So the breadcrumb trail is just a random bit of background chatter on the radio.
Pretty much. That's your cue. You hear that, you think, huh, trees in the wasteland? Well, you head north, and then you still have a tough journey just finding the actual hidden entrance. It's a massive reward, purely for paying attention to the game's atmosphere.
That's brilliant. Okay, next up. A huge community favorite, apparently, but one that demands serious willpower from the player. The Nuka-Cola Challenge.
Ah, yes. This one's tucked away in the tiny, easily missed settlement of Girdershade. It's kind of northeast of the Dunwich building, southwest of Smith Casey's garage. Obscure location.
And the big rule, the one everyone stresses.
The golden rule, repeated across all the sources. Do not drink any Nuka-Cola Quantum, not before you get this quest.
Which is torture. Nuka-Cola Quantum is that rare, glowing blue stuff. It gives you instant health, instant action points. Your gamer instinct screams, consume, consume immediately.
Exactly. It's a unique, powerful consumable. Why wouldn't you use it the second you find it? But this quest, it needs you to hoard them. 30 of them, if memory serves.
30. That requires insane levels of self-control and foresight. You have to know this quest exists way down the line and actively stop yourself from using one of the best consumables in the game.
It's pure discipline. Now, we got to stick to the sources here and not spoil the quest giver or the exact reward details.
Try and keep it mysterious.
But it's just a perfect example of a really cool, rewarding side quest hidden away that completely forces you to rethink how you manage your inventory. That turns a common-ish but valuable resource into this high-stakes quest currency. Amazing design, really.
Okay, switching gears a bit towards pure utility. Let's talk Riley's Rangers. This sounds like a crucial one for getting good gear, but again, easy to miss the trigger.
Very easy. The trigger mechanism is super specific.
Yeah.
You need to be physically near the National Archives building. Often players are there doing the main quest, stealing independence, searching for the Declaration.
Okay, and then what?
While you're in that area, you need to have your Pip-Boy radio on. If you tune around, you can pick up a faint distress signal, Ranger distress signal.
Just like random radio static unless you tune to the right frequency.
Exactly. Most players probably just ignore it, think it's generic background noise. But that signal, that's the hook. It leads you directly into the full Riley's Rangers questline.
Wow. So if you fast travel everywhere or just don't bother fiddling with the radio much, you could completely miss out on a major quest chain.
Easily. It's classic quest nesting. Doing one thing, being in the right place at the right time, paying attention to the audio cues, unlocks something totally separate and potentially much more rewarding.
And the rewards are worth it here.
Oh yeah. Big time. Finishing the Riley's Rangers quest gives you access to a repeatable mapping task that's a reliable source of caps. And, depending on your choices at the end, you get either Eugene, a unique Gatling laser.
Minigun, actually, I think. Eugene's a minigun.
Ah, right. Unique minigun. Thanks.
Oh.
Or Ranger Battle Armor, which is arguably the best suit of non-power armor, combat armor in the base game. Huge rewards, all locked behind noticing that tiny little radio signal.
Incredible. Okay, and finally for this section, just a quick mention of something from the DLC, Point Lookout. The Velvet Curtain. Sounds intriguing.
Yeah, the sources really praise this one for breaking the mold. It's part of the Point Lookout add-on, set in that creepy swampland.
And it's different how?
Instead of the usual go here, kill that, or fetch this widget, it's basically a spy thriller. It throws you into this whole plot involving a pre-war Chinese spy, espionage, finding a hidden nuclear submarine, solving environmental puzzles.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Like Fallout meets James Bond almost.
Kinda. It's really valued by the community precisely because it mixes things up. It demands more than just combat skill. You need observation, deduction, engagement with the story. Plus, it unlocks really cool atmospheric locations within Point Lookout. Real standout. Okay, now we descend into the really deep end, the realm of the true Fallout 3 completionist. We're talking about the quests or quest-like experiences that often don't even show up in your Pip-Boy, the unmarked stuff.
Right, we need to be clear about that distinction. What exactly is an unmarked quest in this context?
Basically, yeah, they're these little narrative gems or challenges that you stumble upon, follow through on, and maybe get some reward from. Could be caps, unique loot, a powerful weapon, or sometimes just a story. But, crucially, they never get logged as an official quest in your Pip-Boy's quest tab. You have to track them mentally or through notes you find.
Okay, and the most infamous example of this, the one that always comes up when people talk about creepy hidden Fallout 3 stuff, has got to be searching for Cheryl.
Oh, God, Cheryl.
Yeah.
This one is less a quest, more like stumbling into a really grim environmental true crime story, a rabbit hole you fall down.
And finding it is incredibly cryptic, right? How does it even start?
Astronomically difficult to start intentionally. It begins usually by finding some graves and notes down in the L'Enfant South area. These notes detail this desperate search party looking for a missing sister, Cheryl.
And you follow notes.
You follow a breadcrumb trail of literal paper notes. Scraps of paper, journal entries, left behind by the search party members as things went wrong, often hidden under rubble, tucked away in corners. You're piecing together their doomed journey.
Okay, and the sources mentioned the starting area itself, L'Enfant Plaza, is super easy to miss.
Totally. There's no major quest that sends you there, really. And the typical way in is through this highly irradiated metro tunnel that's just packed with Reaver ghouls.
Reavers, those are the really tough high-level ghouls, right? Fast, hit hard, tons of health.
Exactly. Not your shambling ferals. So, most players probably hit that tunnel, see the radiation, see the Reavers, and think, nope, just a deadly dead end with maybe some minor loot, and turn right around. They never even find the plaza where the notes start.
Okay, so let's say you do find the notes. You follow this tragic trail of failure. Where does it end?
It culminates southwest to the Jury Street metro station. You find the body of the search party leader, a guy named Manny Koch. And here's the gut punch. The second you find his body and likely read his final note, you get ambushed by a super mutant behemoth, a massive one, and it's carrying a mini nuke launcher.
Wait, what? The climax of this sad, desperate search story is you get jumped by a mini nuke-wielding behemoth.
Yep. Surprise. Enjoy the boss fight you had no warning about.
Okay, so you fight this thing, presumably kill it. What's the reward? For following all those notes, braving the Reavers, surviving the behemoth, there must be a unique weapon, right? Some amazing treasure. Where's Cheryl?
That's the brutal anti-reward. There is no unique weapon. There's no treasure chest.
Yeah.
And Cheryl. Never found. She's gone. The behemoth, by the way.
Ugh.
It actually spawns in that area anyway if you wander close enough, whether you follow the notes or not.
So the only thing you gain from meticulously following this entire tragic hidden breadcrumb trail is context. The knowledge of this awful story of failure, and then a massive unannounced boss fight that would happen anyway.
Pretty much. That's it. It's pure environmental storytelling. The reward is the story itself. It's a deeper understanding of the harshness of the wasteland, the emotional weight of loss. It chills you. It reminds you that not every mystery gets solved, not every hero wins, and sometimes the only reward for exploration is a really grim tale and a tough fight. It elevates the whole experience beyond just loot grinding.
Wow. That's incredibly bleak and kind of amazing. Okay, speaking of chilling, we absolutely have to talk about the Dunwich building. The capital of creepy in the capital Wasteland.
Oh, the Dunwich building.
Yeah.
Universally called out in the sources as an awesome quest or location, purely for the atmosphere. It goes full Lovecraftian horror.
Visions, weird chanting, doors slamming.
Obelisk in the basement, yeah. It's this incredibly dense pocket of cosmic dread. And apparently the experience is even richer, more connected if you start it after meeting this specific rude old guy in a mansion way over in Point Lookout. It links the DLC horror back to the base game horror.
So it's valued more for the feeling, the experience, the lore implications than any specific loot you get out of it.
Absolutely. It's horror you absorb that gets under your skin rather than just something you shoot your way through. Although you do plenty of shooting too, usually ghouls. But Fallout 3's unsettling vibe isn't just cosmic horror. It's also that really mundane domestic horror.
Yeah.
The friendly neighbors who are maybe not so friendly.
Right. We're talking about places like Andale.
Andale. Described into the sources using words like hilarious, creepy, and disturbing all at once. It's pretty accurate.
It looks like this perfect little pre-war suburban cul-de-sac, right? White picket fences.
Totally normal on the surface until you start poking around, talking to people, maybe check their basements, and you realize the residents are cannibals. They're eating people.
It's like the White Glove Society in New Vegas, but somehow more unsettling.
Yeah.
Because it's so small town, so isolated.
Exactly. Less formal, more backwoods, creepy. That mundane setting makes the horror hit harder somehow. And then there's the other side of that coin, maybe. The family over in Arrowview.
This is the one tied to Lucy West's quest, right? Where people think there are vampires.
Yeah. The locals are convinced vampires are attacking them. When you investigate, you find this group calling themselves the family. And they're not exactly vampires, but they're drinking blood, collecting blood packs, consuming them. It's weird, ambiguous, and deeply atmospheric.
And there's a good reward tied to resolving this one, right?
Huge reward, potentially. If you navigate the situation well, depending on your choices, you can get the schematics for the shish kebab.
The flaming sword, yes. That's a fantastic weapon. So a great functional reward hidden inside this really moody, atmospheric mystery quest involving vampires.
Exactly. Great blend of theme and reward. Okay, one last one for the unmarked emotional gut punches. The Keller family tapes.
Now, this isn't an official quest at all, is it? Just tapes you find.
Totally unmarked. No objective, no log entry. It's just about finding these 5 specific holotapes scattered across different locations in the Wasteland.
And what's on them?
They tell this incredibly personal, fragmented story of a family of the Kellers trying to survive the literal moments before the bombs fell, leaving messages for each other, trying to coordinate, trying to reach safety. Heartbreaking stuff.
And the payoff. Is there a location they lead to?
The trail of tapes eventually leads you to the final resting place of the dad of the family. You find his skeletal remains, often with the last tape nearby. It concludes this really profound, intimate, and just deeply sad narrative. There's no loot, no XP.
Just the story.
Just the story. And it's powerful. It gives you this incredibly valuable window into the pre-war world, the human cost of the apocalypse. These kinds of purely narrative, unmarked discoveries, they're vital. They make the Wasteland feel lived in, lost, tragic. They give it that human heartbeat beneath all the rubble and monsters. Worth way more than caps sometimes.
Okay, we've done the grind, the morals, the lore, the horror. Now let's get technical. Let's look at quests that hinge on your character's stats, or your ability to think logically, or maybe just pure dumb luck in finding the trigger.
Right. The purely mechanical challenges, or the ones where knowing the system gives you a huge edge. And we got to start with maybe the most legendary example of pure luck discovery. Agatha's song.
Agatha, the old woman living alone out in the wastes, wanting her violin back.
Exactly. She needs you to retrieve her ancestor's Soil Stradivarius from Vault 92, which is itself a pretty creepy vault full of sonic experiments gone wrong. But the real challenge, just finding Agatha in the first place.
How hard is it?
Well, one source, one player contribution we saw, mentioned it took them 100 hours of gameplay. 100 hours, just wandering the Wasteland before they randomly stumbled upon Agatha's house and could even start the quest.
100 hours just to initiate it? That's insane. That's the definition of hidden.
Totally. Now, the quest itself has this nice emotional core, right? Helping this sweet old lady get her precious instrument back so she can play music for the Wasteland via her own little radio station. It's touching.
It is, but let's be real. The reason completionists hunt this down isn't just for the feels, is it? There's a tangible reward.
Oh, yeah. A very tangible reward. Successfully completing the quest gets you access to the Blackhawk, which is a unique, scoped .44 Magnum revolver. and it is widely considered the best non-DLC .44 Magnum in the entire game. Hits like a truck, looks cool.
So it's the perfect blend then. A genuinely heartwarming little story, completely hidden away, that also rewards you with one of the most powerful handguns in the game.
Exactly. The emotional plot is almost like camouflage for the raw functional power you get. Pairs sentiment with stopping power. Brilliant.
Okay, from blind luck to actual brain power. Let's talk about the nerdiest challenge in the capital Wasteland, Jig's Loot, found in the Museum of Technology.
Yes. This isn't about finding a person, it's about interacting with computer terminals. Specifically, terminals related to prime numbers.
Prime numbers? Seriously?
Seriously, the quest, or unmarked puzzle really, requires you to input a specific sequence of prime numbers into a terminal to unlock a hidden safe containing loot.
Okay, quick refresher for those of us who slept through math class. Prime numbers.
Right? A prime number is any whole number bigger than 1 that can only be divided evenly by, well, 1 in itself. So like 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, goes on forever.
So you actually need to know some basic number theory to solve a puzzle in a game about shooting mutants. That's unexpected.
It is. But here's what makes it mechanically tricky. According to the sources, it's not just knowing primes.
Well, what else?
The terminals are apparently really unforgiving. If you make a mistake in the sequence, choose the wrong dialogue option on the terminal, or accidentally input a number that isn't prime, you can easily lock yourself out. Permanently.
Permanently locked out of the reward. Ouch.
Yeah, so the sources strongly advise being super careful, using the quick save function liberally, like save before every input. Basically, abuse the system, as one source put it, to make sure one slip-up doesn't cost you the unique loot, which is often a highly valuable, unique Chinese assault rifle called the Swan Long Assault Rifle. Worth the save scumming? Most agree.
Good to know. Save early, save often, know your primes.
Got it. Okay, finally, let's look at some unmarked combat encounters. The ones that feel like big official quests because they're so intense and structured, even if they never hit your Pip-Boy log, like the Brotherhood rescues.
Exactly. The multi-stage Brotherhood of Steel extraction scenarios, specifically at Fort Bannister and then Marigold Station. These feel like proper quests.
So Fort Bannister first, what's the setup?
You stumble upon this situation where a squad of Brotherhood paladins are pinned down, trying to take out some Talon Company merc leaders inside the fort. Your unmarked objective is basically help the Brotherhood win, clear out the Talon leaders. It's a big firefight, good loot drops from the Talon commanders.
Sounds straightforward enough. Is there a catch?
The real challenge, is keeping one specific Brotherhood NPC alive during the chaos. A guy named Paladin Haas. Apparently he has a tendency to, die. Very easily, like runs straight into rocket fire. Ugh, the classic, fragile, essential NPC, even when they're not technically essential for a marked quest. Okay, so high difficulty keeping Haas alive. What's the payoff if you manage it?
Well, the immediate payoff is just the loot and the satisfaction of a tough fight won. But the real payoff comes later, potentially at the second location, Marigold Station.
Okay, what happens there?
You find the Brotherhood again, this time fighting super mutants, trying to rescue a trapped Brotherhood recruit inside the station. Another big fight. Now, if Paladin Haas survived Fort Bannister and he survives this second encounter at Marigold,
Yeah, what the hell?
he actually gives you a tangible reward. He grants you permanent safe passage through the Falls Church area, meaning Brotherhood patrols there won't be hostile, which can be kind of useful.
That's a decent little localized reward.
Yeah.
But the source mentions something else too, something weirder.
Oh yeah. This is the truly bizarre emergent part. If Haas survives both encounters, there's a chance he just starts following you, randomly. He becomes this sort of unofficial, slightly glitchy companion who just shows up sometimes.
Shows up where? Like just around DC?
All over the Wasteland. People report him popping up in the weirdest places, even apparently sometimes glitching his way onto the alien ship in the Mothership Zeta DLC, showing up in the cryo labs.
No way! Paladin Haas on the alien mothership. That's hilarious.
Isn't it? It's this perfect example of how an unmarked, high-intensity combat sequence can lead to this really memorable, persistent, almost quest-like relationship with an NPC, complete with weird bugs. All triggered just by engaging with the environment and keeping one fragile paladin alive through 2 firefights. Classic Fallout. Hashtag tag outro.
All right, so after digging through all that, what does it all mean for you? For the dedicated Capital Wasteland explorer, the learner trying to see everything, we kicked off with that paradox, remember? The idea that Fallout 3 felt light on quests if you just looked at the official count.
Yeah, that low number, like 36 or whatever.
But what we've clearly shown today, pulling from all these community sources and deep dives, is that the Capital Wasteland is absolutely teeming with content. It's just hidden.
It really is. The sheer variety is nuts.
Yeah.
You've got everything from those tedious, but maybe necessary collection grinds like the books or the scrap.
All the way to quests with real historical weight like the Lincoln artifacts, or profound lore connections like finding Harold in Oasis.
And then plunging into pure psychological horror with the Dunwich building or the bleakness of the Cheryl search. It runs the gamut.
And the key takeaway seems to be that the developers made a very deliberate choice here. They actively rewarded slow, careful, observant exploration, and yeah, sometimes morally ambiguous exploration too.
Absolutely. That perceived lack of quest markers.
Yeah.
It's not a bug, it's a feature. It's designed to push you off the beaten path, to make you stop relying on the Pip-Boy map icon and actually look around, to wander.
It forces you to listen to that crackling radio signal, right? To actually read the notes you find on terminals, maybe stumble upon Jiggs's prime number puzzle, to question that creepy, overly friendly town like Annandale, to know that some massive secret or some heartbreaking story might just be hidden under a pile of rubble, revealed only by a sad note on a skeleton in some irradiated tunnel.
True completionism in Fallout 3, it seems, isn't about ticking boxes in a quest log. It's about becoming a Wasteland detective, ignoring the UI sometimes and just embracing the discovery.
Which brings us to that final thought, something for you to chew on as you head back out there, or maybe start a new playthrough with fresh eyes.
Yeah. Consider this. If the quests that arguably have the most lasting impact, the ones people talk about years later, ones that really stick with you emotionally, like searching for Cheryl or finding those Keller family tapes, if those are the ones that are hardest to find, the ones deliberately hidden, and the ones that offer zero monetary reward, no XP, no legendary gun.
Just the story itself.
Just the story. Does that maybe suggest something deeper? That perhaps the most valuable discoveries we make, not just in a vast digital wasteland like Fallout 3, but maybe anywhere, in any big complex world, real or virtual, are often the ones we find purely for their own sake, the ones hidden away from the obvious paths, outside the easy metrics of profit or levels or gear scores, just the story, waiting to be uncovered.